In Washington, there is a new sheriff in town, and under Donald Trump's leadership, we may disagree with your views, but we will fight to defend your right to offer it in the public square, agree or disagree.
In a new interview, President Trump denied online rumors that the gold decorations in the Oval Office came from Home Depot, even though he has a whole team of guys taking stuff from Home Depot all the time.
Bet you definitely didn't see this explosion loading JD Vance. Just crashed onto the internet like a toddler who dropped his ice cream, tripped over it, and blamed the freezer. SNL lobbed a truth missile so massive it practically knocked the smug right off his face. Michael Che went full demolition mode, dragging Vance, roasting Trump, and exposing enough awkward family dinner energy to power a reality show. The chaos is loud, the shade is nuclear, and the cringe is historic. Strap in, this isn't political drama anymore. This is full-scale, popcorn-fueled meltdown entertainment at its finest.
I think it's a joke. I looked at the people. They're not representative of this country. And I looked at all the brand new signs paid for, I guess it was paid for by Soros and other radical left lunatics. It looks like it was. We're checking it out. The demonstrations were very small, very ineffective.
President Trump addressed a joint session of Congress and claimed that no president has changed government faster than him. Yeah, and nobody changed airport security faster than bin Laden.
Before we even get into the chaos, go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe. Trust me, you do not want to miss where this train wreck is heading. JD Vance just blasted onto the internet. Like a guy discovering his phone auto-corrected his entire career into a punchline. SNL didn't just roast him, they torched him, plated it with a generous serving of Trump-fueled absurdity, and delivered the whole flaming dish straight into America's living rooms. It wasn't satire. It was a full-blown comedic demolition.
I just have to say, in general, I don't really believe in conspiracies because as a member of the Illuminati...
And Michael Che, oh, he didn't whisper a thing. He unleashed a truth monsoon so sharp it could have been measured in microscopic units of pure political humiliation. Vance tried to play it cool, but that face was screaming. Nope, not me, not today. Spoiler, oh yes, exactly you. And exactly today,
the Trump administration announced that after face-to-face talks with China, it is lowering tariffs from 145% to 30%, which is a little like OJ bragging about taking the knife out.
The kind of exposure that makes you sit in your Lincoln wondering if maybe, just maybe, the internet will let this one slide. Spoiler, it didn't. Twitter fired up instantly, launching hashtags faster than Vance could draft another rage-filled email, and yes, they were brutal. Precision, pixel-perfect brutality, and it all kicked off the moment. SNL dropped its latest weekend episode.
Trump is threatening to sue the BBC for $5 billion for a documentary that edited out the part of his January 6th speech where he called for protesters to be...
The lights dropped. The crowd buzzed, and then boom, there he was, JD Vance. Or at least the SNL version of him, a hypercharged caricature slicing straight to the jugular. The sketch was so absurd and so painfully accurate that even Vance's own reflection would have tilted its head and quietly walked away. And of course, Trump barged in for a cameo because you can't roast JD Vance without inviting the orange elephant, lumbering around every room he enters. It all started innocent enough. Vance, the self-made memoir guy turned political gymnast, juggling policy papers like they were fresh off the grill hot potatoes, but then Michael Che opened his mouth. And the impact, meteoric Che's lines didn't just land, they detonated. Vance's entire political persona got sliced, diced, and sautéed with comedic precision. Every awkward interview, every fumbled talking point, every photo op featuring Trump grinning like a kid who just stole the cookie jar, SNL laid it all out. Frame by frame, brutal, beautiful, immediate viral gold.
Japan's new Prime Minister Sanai Takachi said during a press conference that she is nominating President Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. And I can't believe I get to say this, but thank God nobody listened.
Jan Vance. Oh, he did exactly what any calm, collected, totally secure politician in 2025 would do. He tried to cancel SNL. Why's cancel SNL diplomacy? Gone. Strategy. Who needs it? He went full keyboard warrior mode, firing off tweets desperately trying to gaslight the entire country into feeling sorry for him. Spoiler, it failed harder than a dial-up modem in a thunderstorm. Social media did what social media always does, remixed, memed, and collectively shrugged at the idea of defending JD Vance. The internet didn't just react, it celebrated. His cancellation attempt instantly became a masterclass in achieving the exact opposite of what you want. Every late-night highlight reel, every TikTok clip, every Facebook meme, it all turned into one ongoing montage of JD Vance screaming into the void. While the void clapped back with relentless, echoing laughter, one Twitter user even compared his meltdown to a toddler throwing a tantrum over peas. Not symbolic peas, not political peas, just regular, sad, green vegetables. And honestly, the accuracy was frightening.
Volodymyr Zelensky has said that if President Trump provides Ukraine with Tomahawk missiles, he will nominate Trump for a Nobel Peace Prize. You know, the prize they give you for selling missiles.
Meanwhile, SNL sat back in the shadows like a cat that just knocked over a priceless vase on purpose and refused to even blink. Why intervene when your target is publicly self-combusting in real time? JD Vance launched into full boycott mode. Statements, op-eds, vague threats about responding appropriately. The nation's response, posting Michael Che's clip again, this time slowed down, looped, and paired with dramatic classical music like it was a Shakespearean tragedy performed on TikTok? Tragic, hilarious, iconic, and then, of course, the Trump angle. You could practically hear Washington collectively groaning as the segment replayed across every screen in America. Vance's PR team, assuming one exists, spiraled into chaos. Drafts became rewrites, rewrites became panicked deletions, and somehow one of the drafts still leaked to exactly the people they didn't want reading it. Journalists had a buffet. Headlines practically wrote themselves. Who survives when Vance tries to cancel SNL? Short answer, everyone except Vance. The story was unmistakably clear. JD Vance, the self-declared anti-comedy crusader, had just become the official poster child for outrage gone wrong.
Trump announced plans for a 100% tariff on movies made outside the U.S., which is no problem for me because all the movies I watched were filmed in a Florida condo on a leather couch.
Meanwhile, the memes evolved like a species under stress, fast, chaotic, and absolutely ruthless. JD Vance started popping up in every corner of the internet, photoshopped dodging airborne pies, crawling under tables, even mistakenly showing up to a kid's birthday party dressed like a confused chaperone. Each new edit was funnier, louder, and more disrespectful than the last. Every share, retweet, and repost slapped another layer of embarrassment onto Vance's already bright red ego. Comedy wasn't just a weapon anymore, it was a precision. Scalpel slicing straight through his carefully curated public image. The irony, the harder he fought the jokes, the bigger the audience grew. People watched, transfixed, as a politician publicly lost his cool in glorious HD. Every attempt at subtlety, every moving on statement, every forced smile, lit all just begged for the next meme to drop, and the internet was happy to deliver.
President Trump announced that another alleged drug smuggling boat from Venezuela has been blown out of the water without warning. And you may not think that's a big deal right now, but one day soon, you'll look at yourself in the mirror and realize you're out of cocaine.
Back on SNL, Michael Che didn't just roast Vance, world built around him. JD Vance stopped being a politician and evolved into a full-blown concept. The eternally flustered, over-earnest anti-comedian desperately trying to wrestle control over a joke that had already escaped into the wild. Trump's presence only multiplied the absurdity. He played both sidekick and chaos engine, grinning like he just pulled off the greatest prank of his life and couldn't wait to take credit for it. The fallout, it spread everywhere. Late-night shows picked it up. Talk shows amplified it. YouTube commentary channels turned every frame into a mini-event. Every clip became a spectacle. Every joke turned into a headline. And JD Vance became the accidental mascot of comedy gone catastrophic.
Critics of President Trump are calling him tone deaf for posting pictures of his newly renovated White House bathroom during the government shutdown. But I'm happy that the floor was...
JD Vance wasn't just a political figure anymore, he'd become a full-blown cautionary tale about what happens when oversized ambition collides with an absolutely non-existent sense of humor. Analysts debated whether trying to cancel SNL was bold strategy or pure self-inflicted disaster. A tiny sprinkle of strategy, buried under a mountain of catastrophic. Vance was trending in ways most politicians only fantasize about. Those fantasies included humiliation, confusion, and an endless conveyor belt of memes. And it wasn't just the audience having a blast. Political commentators, even the ones who normally treat comedy like radioactive waste, jumped in. Their verdict was unanimous. Michael Che pulled off something legendary. He transformed J.D. Vance into a walking, talking case study on why you never try to cancel a show that's better at storytelling, jokes, and public perception than you will ever be. Vance wasn't fighting SNL anymore, he was fighting a narrative that had already outrun him. He was battling fiction, and fiction was winning flawlessly, effortlessly. Hands down,
President Trump criticized Time magazine for using a bad picture of him on the cover, saying, quote, "They disappeared my hair." And I gotta agree, that thing, dude.
J.D. Vance didn't stop, he escalated. Emails to networks, vague legal threats, tweets in all caps, you name it. He tried it all short of skywriting his grievances across Times Square. Meanwhile, the internet responded exactly as it always does, relentlessly. Every public figure who tried to back him quietly deleted posts. Every neutral commentator suddenly had a brand new reason to laugh. Comedy had officially become the ultimate political power. And yet, beneath the chaos, the human drama simmered. Almost Shakespearean. J.D. Vance desperately grasping for control versus Michael Che casually dismantling authority with effortless precision. One man raging, the other mastering the art of comedic annihilation, and the audience couldn't look away.
President Trump said he was interested in reopening Alcatraz because it represents something horrible and beautiful and strong and miserable and weak, which are also his nicknames for his five.
Trump lurked in the background like a mischievous puppeteer, sprinkling chaos wherever he pleased. It was a perfect storm of absurdity, ambition, and public spectacle. Each scene outdid the last. If politics had a sitcom, this was the pilot episode, then came the grand finale. SNL, in all their genius, dropped a follow-up sketch. J.D. Vance tried to enter the studio only to be stopped by a security guard who clearly had no idea who he was. The sketch closed on a single spotlight shining on his bewildered, defeated face. His cancellation attempt, epic fail. And in failing, he ascended to a whole new level of notoriety. He tried to control the narrative, instead wrote himself into a meme-fueled tragedy. Not just politically, but culturally, comedically, memorably. The public had peeked behind the curtain, and the man behind it, flailing spectacularly. J.D. Vance's story isn't just a cautionary tale, it's a masterclass in unintentional comedy. Politics, media, and pop culture collided, and in the end, the laughter wasn't mean-spirited. It was inevitable.
Air traffic controllers have lost contact with planes that were about to land. But luckily, it's Newark, so planes can just follow the smell.
Attempts to control perception are always doomed the moment the internet gets involved. Michael Che proved that skillful comedy doesn't just entertain it, rewrites the rules. By now, J.D. Vance had become more than a politician. He was a symbol, a cautionary emblem of how, in a world dominated by social media, late-night comedy, and viral content, no one, not even a U.S. Senate hopeful, can control the narrative. And the best part? He didn't just fail. He failed in style, providing endless weeks of content for meme lords, comedians, and bewildered political analysts alike. Trump naturally observed from the sidelines, probably applauding quietly while plotting his own chaos-filled follow-up. In this world, the absurdity never ends, and there's always someone ready to exploit it in trying to cancel the show. J.D. Vance guaranteed one thing: SNL and Michael Che owned the conversation. Every political debate, late-night monologue, and meme-laden post traced back to this meltdown. It became shorthand for the ultimate collision: ambition, ego, and comedy. J.D. Vance versus Michael Che, the battle everyone watched, nobody expected, and nobody forgot.
City Mayor Eric Adams met with President Trump yesterday to discuss the city's concerns, namely that Trump's deportations have dramatically cut New York's supply of sick shortages.
By the time the dust settled, social media was still on fire, headlines were still trending, and J.D. Vance's campaign had somehow become both a political effort and a masterclass in viral, unintentional comedy. The internet had claimed its victory. The audience had laughed. And Vance, he was left staring at the chaos, wondering exactly what just happened. The lesson was simple: never try to cancel something you don't understand. Never underestimate the power of comedy. And never, ever forget: the internet will always find a way to make you the punchline. The tweets, the memes, the viral references, they're everywhere. J.D. Vance may never live this down. And honestly, he shouldn't. Comedy had won, Trump grinned, and Michael Che, he did what comedians have done best for centuries: told the truth with style, wit, and unrelenting precision. The public got a masterclass in laughter. The political world got a cautionary tale. And J.D. Vance, he got memmed into eternity.
President Trump has signed an executive order giving refugee status to white people from South Africa. I could have sworn that white people had it good in South Africa. Must be the man.
So next time you think about canceling a comedy show, remember this: the internet is watching, the memes are ready, and Michael Che, he's probably already drafting the next scene. J.D. Vance, oh, he's still flailing, still tweeting, still trying. Bless him. The chaos continues. The laughs keep coming, and America is entertained beyond belief. Just when you thought the saga couldn't get more absurd, it did. Apparently fueled by equal parts panic and stubbornness, J.D. Vance decided that if he couldn't cancel SNL, he would weaponize outrage instead. Enter the platform of professionals, connections, and passive-aggressive congratulatory emojis. And yes, the world laughed again. Vance's serious attempt to defend himself read like a bizarre mashup of conspiracy theory and a TED Talk on how to misinterpret comedy. Phrases like satirical assault on truth and misguided comedic attacks littered his posts, each one more unintentionally hilarious than the last. The man was fighting jokes, and the jokes were winning. Spectacularly,
President Trump says Catholics loved an image he posted of him dressed as the Pope last week, but I just find it hard to believe that anyone in the Catholic Church would be into something so juvenile.
As expected, the internet had an absolute field day. Twitter erupted with memes imagining J.D. Vance storming SNL rehearsals in full armor, ready to defend his honor against cast members wielding foam swords labeled comedy and truth, surreal, absurd, perfect. J.D. Vance had officially become the tragic hero of modern political comedia, man fighting forces way beyond his comprehension. If he'd wanted to avoid becoming a meme, maybe he should have stayed home and taken up knitting. Even late-night shows that usually avoided political jabs jumped on the chaos train. J.D. Vance became shorthand for the politician who tries to control a narrative and fails. Spectacularly clips of him typing furiously at a laptop, flustered at press conferences or squinting at SNL promos were looped, slowed down, and even remixed into songs. Because of course they were. The internet always finds a way.
The Trump administration announced that after face-to-face talks with China, it is lowering tariffs from 145% to 30%, which is a little like OJ bragging about taking the knife out.
While Vance tried to paint himself as the victim, Trump sat back, smirked, and probably muttered something like, "This is why I always say keep the roast going." The collision of Vance's panic and Trump's mischief created a new political archetype, the student versus the master. Through it all, J.D. Vance somehow convinced himself he was winning. Every meme, every joke, every viral clip became evidence that the world just didn't get him. Reality check, the world did get him. They just found him hilarious. By this point, the saga had outgrown one man versus a sketch show. It was ambition clashing with reality. J.D. Vance wanted to be serious, authoritative, respected. The internet and Michael Che had other plans. They transformed him into an epic, ongoing, laugh-out-loud cautionary tale. And here's the lesson. If you think you can control how the world sees you, think again. You can't. You just can't.